Empire. In 2022, the NFT space continues to grow exponentially.
And that happens through QR codes up on the Jumbotron. It happens through signage along the field itself. So nobody came in, signed up for the platform or anything else. But once they were there, they realized that they could win a golden NFT ticket.
That's Todd Cooper, CEO and co-founder of NuArca Labs, which focuses on NFT creation across a variety of entertainment options. This is the Future Sport Podcast. I'm Bram Weinstein. We've spent a lot of time already and obviously will continue to discuss the growing space that encompasses NFTs. Realizing it's not a simple topic to broach, entry points remain in the educational phase, and demand ebbs and flows as the market of popularity and speciality continues to mature. And that's where Todd Cooper finds himself, in search of all the right moves. Our guest this week is Todd Cooper. He's the CEO and the co-founder of NuArca Labs, which is a platform that is focusing on the creation of NFT products for sports, music, entertainment rights holders. Hey, Todd, how are you?
Great. How are you, Brand?
I'm good.
Good to speak with you today.
So I read your background was in risk management and some financial institutional work, and suddenly you got around to the fun stuff. So what brought you around to this?
Yeah. Well, I've always been, into the fun stuff. And for me, the fun stuff is building interesting platforms, building interesting software. Wrote my first software back in 1979 on a paper-based terminal, connected through, a acoustic cup modem into ARPANET. And I've always just been fascinated with how you can use technology to create new experiences. And, after the time we spent in fintech and there, we decided that we could take that know-how, that knowledge, and apply it against this new space of crypto and blockchain, back in 2016, and we could make great things happen. And it's largely proven to be true.
So why have you now turned to sports, music, entertainment? What was the opening you saw in the marketplace to get into that realm?
Yeah, so we, back in 2017, we built out some prototypes for fantasy football play using NFTs as to represent the players you put on the field. And we just decided the market wasn't ready at that time. And so we put that on the back burner. And then we were just dusting it off in late 2020. And then, of course, Top Shot hit in 2021 and early 2021. And we saw that as the representing the moment where blockchain and NFT technology and crypto technology had the potential to make the leap into the mainstream, move out of its really pretty tightly held echo chamber and come into the main consumer space. We wanted to be part of making that happen, and thought it was a fantastic opportunity to integrate, our love of sports, alongside this technology and really make it fun for everyday fans. Okay, so tell me a little bit about your company, NuArca Labs. What do you guys do specifically? Yeah, so we have, in the NFT space, we have a white label platform for fan engagement that uses NFTs to help fans own a little piece of the action and get closer to the brands themselves. So, and that platform is based on the same technology that our technology base that our systems are used, blockchain systems are used in the U.S. capital markets and Latin America capital markets. So it's very secure. It's a very safe place for everyday fans. Fans don't have to know how to set up a crypto wallet. They don't have to know how to use crypto. They don't have to understand how NFTs work. And it's very environmentally friendly. So really aligning with the needs for everyday fans to very quickly become involved in a low friction environment to, work with the sports entities and the entertainers that they love. That's a very interesting way of putting it. It's like, you don't have to understand what you're doing, but we know you want to be part of it. So here's how to do that. Well, it's kind of like, if you think about all the technology that's ever rolled out in any sport or any industry, the first stabs at it are very exposed, right? You have a lot of raw elements and surfaces you shouldn't touch and things like that. And then over time, as it matures, it becomes much more behind the scenes, more of an enabler for the core the core thing that you're trying to accomplish. This is the same way with NFTs. Let's say, when these first came out, 4 or 5 years ago, and even in most situations today, all of those wires are exposed. Those hot surfaces are out there. Those sharp areas for unsuspecting consumers to poke themselves on all exist, but they don't need to anymore. And that's what we've built. So we built it in such a way that fans can own a little piece of the action. They can own a little piece of the player, the sport, the league, the team that they love, and they don't have to worry about being burned or being poked or being taken advantage of by some kind of fraudster. It's all, it's a protected, safe place. They can just really focus on the fun of that experience and gaining a little piece of ownership of a new way of understanding digital assets.
Okay. Can you give me a specific example of when you say, here's a little piece of ownership you could take part in that you guys are working on? Can you tell me what that looks like?
Sure. Yeah. So one of the things that we're really psyched about is the Rugby League World Cup. So we launched that for it's happening in October, November of 2022. They have 100 million fans globally. And what we are doing with them is a full fan engagement. Platform launched a couple of weeks ago. And the initial cut at NFT drops are going to just their most loyal fans. So these are people who stuck with them when they had to reschedule because of COVID. These are the people who have been, following the events, following the sport for years. And so those fans are getting special access to an NFT drop that includes some really unique artwork. It includes some great video clips. And also, importantly, it includes membership access to future great opportunities, both from an NFT standpoint as well as the event itself. If you're participating and you're owning these NFTs, you have a chance to win great seats at the finals. You have a chance to get a piece of memorabilia. You have a chance to get some hyper-specific, very, very rare NFTs in the future, as well as merchandise, coupons, special experiences, meet the athletes, et cetera. So a very integrated aspect of their overall digital marketing program is wrapped up within this NFT fan experience.
Guys, if you're looking for that extra confidence when it's time to have a little bit of fun, let me tell you about Bluechew.com. Bluechew is a unique online service. It delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but it comes in chewable form and it's at a fraction of the cost. Bluechew's tablets will help you combat all forms of ED. Plus, it's an online prescription service. No visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, no waiting in line at the pharmacy, and it ships right to your door in a discreet package. The process is really simple. Sign up at Bluechew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you are approved, you'll receive your prescription within days, and the best part, all done online. Bluechew's licensed medical providers are going to work with you to find the right ingredient and the strength for your personal subscription. Plus, their tablets are made in the United States. They prepare, they ship direct, and it's so much cheaper than going through a pharmacy. And here's a special deal for our listeners. Try Bluechew free when you use our promo code FUTURE, FUTR, at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's Bluechew.com, promo code FUTURE, FUTR, to receive your first month free. And we thank Bluechew for being a sponsor of this show. That leads to a broader question of where you see this all going. We've had a lot of people on this podcast who talk about a lot of different various ways to incentivize their core fans and then other fans and get to a more modern group of fans, younger fans who might be interested in this type of stuff and might be more educated going in, as to your point about understanding NFTs and wanting to be part of all that. Could you give me just a general sense of how you kind of picture the future of the financial ecosystem in and around brands, teams, sports, maybe entertainers, and thinking through all the things that you just discussed and how you're incentivizing them?
Sure. Well, that's a big question. Many different parts to it. But I think the most important thing to understand is that this is not like magic pixie dust. This is a technology that enables fans and brands to get closer to each other, and to deploy it in a way that we deploy it in a way that really makes it easy for those average fans to explore and become deeper fans, become more passionate fans around the sport itself, and towards the brands themselves. And the technology's long-term use is going to be more about closing that distance between the creator and the consumer than it is about $300,000 transactions for a video of LeBron dunking over somebody. And so recognizing that the technology itself is really the next generation of digital marketing.
Yeah.
And it's an extension of the natural digital marketing programs, as opposed to, some kind of, magical, value creator, is super critical to knowing where it's going to end up, 3 to 5 years from now.
And, you discuss things like sharp edges. As teams and brands think about how close they want to be to their fans, how do they think through what they would like to share with their fans and what that relationship is kind of modernizing to turn into? Yes.
So one of the most important things that a brand really needs to understand, regardless of whether or not they're going to use NFTs or not, is who their true fans are and how they can expand both the passion and the depth of those fans, as well as expand into the new fan set. And so as you're thinking about that, you really tie into what gets the fan excited about your sport. So if you're in auto sports, it's going to be about that incredibly smart pass by taking the perfect line through a corner. If it's rugby, it's going to be that, soul crushing hit, that levels the ball carrier, or the brilliant pass that no one saw coming. Right? So those little flashes of genius that get the fan super excited about that specific sport. So you understand what that is? It could be, you could be going back in time and tapping into the legacy and the myth of where the sport started. Maybe it's that one match where there was an epic battle between two players who are at the height of their power at that moment. And it could just be as simple as those two players that are now retired, like talking about what that match was, as photos of the match are shown within the NFT itself that you can only get through that experience. Or it could be, it's a special, 3D model of the cup itself that they were competing for, and that 3D model maybe unlocks some other fan opportunities. So there's lots of different ways it can go, but the most critical thing is to know what gets your fans, what gets the blood going for your fan base, and not trying to stray away from that, but instead really embracing that, doubling down on it, and making that part of the experience.
Okay, so where are we now with that? What are fans telling you, teams, brands? What are they saying they want?
Well, the everyday fan really wants that connection to the sport itself, and so it's great to have the digital asset, but we really are seeing that the fun and the collection quest and the gamification around it makes a big difference from adoption. So if a fan knows that if they collect, for say a sports league, all 32 of the stadiums, NFTs that are photos of the stadiums and treatments around the stadiums, they collect all 32, and that gets them the opportunity to, win a VIP experience at the grand finals, or the championships. Then they will collect those, and they'll find ways to put them together, and they'll participate in those quests. And really, it's about the making it fun and making it purposeful, and making it part of how the fan loves their sport as the end goal, right? So if you don't have that level of gamification, then it becomes more of an investor strategy and a collector strategy, as opposed to something that really the fans dig into.
Yeah. I see, the collection part of it's interesting. It's obviously in the art world, there have been zooming prices of all sorts of, crypto-based NFTs that are happening. And in the sports world, there's been a collectibles market since the pandemic began. And I could see where there are investors / collectors that are going to try to usurp this. So I guess there is still a lot to navigate, right? This world does feel extremely nascent.
Oh yeah, it's very new, and we're only scratching the surface of what this technology is capable of in sports and entertainment, as well as in dozens and dozens of other industries. And that's going to evolve over time. What's really exciting about it for us is that everyone who's involved in it now has a chance to write the future, not just, take a page out of some old playbook, but rather really create something new and fantastically engaging. And that's what makes it a lot of fun to be involved in.
Okay, you mentioned the Rugby League World Cup. What are some of the other partnerships? Who else are you working with?
Yeah, so another great one is the 1874 Cup. The 1874 Cup is a rugby union event that runs usually with the USA Eagles, but it will probably include some other matches this year that'll be announced in the upcoming weeks. And so this past event, and actually this happened, if you're associated with the Washington Commanders, this took place at FedEx Field in October.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so we ran, it was the New Zealand All Blacks versus the USA rugby team, the Eagles. And so we ran a live NFT golden ticket opportunity during that event itself. There was 39,000 people in the stadium, and over 4% of all the people there participated. And that happened through QR codes up on the Jumbotron. It happened through signage along the field itself. So nobody came in, signed up for the platform or anything else. But once they were there, they realized that they could, win a golden NFT ticket. They could win a commemorative ticket. They would have something to take home with them that was tangible. And so we had, thousands and thousands of people, signing up in a very short time frame to have these great experiences, have a chance to get, an NFT and win, some of the prizes that were out there. So some of the grand prizes included, to be pitch side for New Zealand's famous haka, or to kick a penalty kick at halftime, or to win a gym membership from the primary sponsor of the event itself. And then everyone subsequently received a commemorative NFT. And then they are also now eligible for upcoming experiences and events and new NFTs for the matches that are happening this year.
It's all really cool. Todd Cooper is the CEO and the co-founder of NuArca Labs. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Bram.
On the next Future Sport podcast, in an era of social engagement and NIL comes a new way to find a scholarship.
On the kid side, we compare ourselves to a LinkedIn model, right? The kid's got his resume, his background, his interview questions. It's just everything to get to know the kid one-on-one. I look at it as his resume on LinkedIn.
That's John Dorsey, CEO of Signing Day Sports, where the power to meet and entice coaches in talent has been opened. That will do it for this episode. As always, the future is now. This is the Future Sport Podcast. I'm Bram Weinstein.